Hello, I'm Philip from wrestling-infos.de and I'm here with Coast to Coast.
Hello Philip, thank you for having us.
Hey Phil, what's going on, man?
I'm fine. So for our readers and listeners who don't know you yet, would you like introduce yourselves maybe and talk a bit about your in-ring style and what you do in your spare time maybe?
Yeah. I'm LSG, also known as the Human Rocket. I'm one half of Coast to Coast. When I'm not wrestling, I'm a big comic book guy, love movies, I'm an artist, and did sports all my life and naturally transitioned to pro wrestling because that makes sense.
How you doing? I'm Shaheem Ali, the one and only chocolate man, as I call myself, because I love to laugh, I love to have a good time. I'm the powerhouse, and sometimes I dibble dabble in a little bit of lucha if I can. And when I'm not wrestling, if I can, comic books, video games, movies, everything anyone else would like.
Alright, cool. So let's talk a bit about your inspirations or role models. Did you grow up watching wrestling, or how can we imagine, how did you come to wrestling?
I actually discovered a Ring of Honor show when I was younger. I was a teenager, and I also used to watch a lot of Impact. So I really looked up to Christopher Daniels, AJ Styles, and Samoa Joe, the three guys, the cornerstones of Impact, and they would also compete in Ring of Honor. So I got to see them live very often. So they definitely inspired me to want to become a professional wrestler when I was a little older.
Growing up, my mother, God rest her soul, she put me in front of a TV and I got a chance to watch the Saturday night main event for WWF before it was WWE, and ever since then guys like Ric Flair, Macho Man always caught my eye, and from 1988 and on I've always been a professional wrestling fan.
Alright, so I would like to know, how did you guys form a tag team? Maybe you could tell us the story behind that.
Yeah, so we actually met at the Monster Factory. Ali was actually in a different team with a different guy. I was doing my singles thing, and we both kind of decided it was time to not necessarily move on, but try something new. So we advance. So we went to the Ring of Honor tryouts, and we started training at Ring of Honor Dojo with Delirious, and during our training there and during our travels, doing with the crew and across the country, we decided, why not, let's become a tag team. So.
And there you go, Coast to Coast basically formed based off of being brothers and
stuck together.
Like a brotherhood. We're like family.
Yeah.
He comes from a different family, and so do I, and we kind of just thought, like, hey, like,
let's meet in the middle.
Yep, basically. Coast to coast.
Yeah.
And since you already talked about the Monster Factory, how can we imagine training there? Is it like very different from other wrestling academies? And yeah, maybe to give us some insight on that. Yeah,
actually, I didn't start at the factory. I did a couple other places before, and I could tell you that the factory is it's more regimented. It's a lot more organized than most schools that you'll find in the United States. So they definitely have a good platform for you to learn the basics, the fundamentals. So going there, they're great with conditioning, the strength and conditioning, and all of the stuff that it takes to help get you on TV or in front of, I guess, in front of scouts or in front of a crew, like Ring of Honor, or somebody who's going to hold the tryout. They prepare you for that. And I know Ali has a slightly different experience because he was there earlier than me.
I was there when Larry Sharp was still part of the Monster Factory, and through his advice and training, and then with Danny Cage, basically everything is what LSG said goes verbatim. So
yeah.
Alright, and so you talked about that you perform at Ring of Honor, and since we all know Ring of Honor works very close with New Japan, is that a goal for you to work in Japan, or maybe to get signed by New Japan?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yes. I know your answer already.
Yep, definitely.
We talk about it all the time, but we're hoping to go at one of these tours with Ring of Honor, and then maybe, one day wrestle for New Japan on a regular basis or something like that. Because Japan has always been on my radar, always. I used to watch, I was a big Noah fan.
And of course we have to go over there and wrestle Roppongi 3K because...
yeah, those are our rivals in Ring of Honor, back when they were the Tempura Boys.
Yeah.
Had many matches with those two boys, so but we owe them another one. Yep. Now that they're Roppongi 3K, we're coast to coast, we're both evolved as teams, we're both way better than we used to be. I think it's time we go up to New Japan this time and wrestle them.
chase them down.
Yeah, chase them down.
So we can expect that you will stay a team in the nearer future, but on a long-term basis, you plan on staying a team, or do you want to advance as single wrestlers?
I think we both have similar taste in wanting to be tag team champions, of course, and singles champion. I mean, I don't see why we still can't be a team, and we've seen guys before be tag team champions, and one of the guys could have a solo run as a television champion or world champion.
Yeah, we always support each other. So if I'm doing single stuff or he's doing single stuff, we're still coast to coast. You know, always.
But do you think you would have a good chemistry working against each other as well?
We actually have wrestled each other. I feel like we had very good matches together. We beat the hell out of each other.
I'll do it again.
Do it again, you son of a...
All right. So let's talk a bit more about tag team wrestling. You wrestled guys like the Young Bucks and War Machine, and those are very notable tag teams. What did you learn from them, and how do they treat younger and upcoming guys?
Yeah, well, I mean, I know like one of our first tag matches in Ring of Honor was with War Machine, and it was night and day compared to what we are now. So it really took about a year and a half of us just getting whooped by all these different guys, and learning from losing and learning from just getting beat up by these really good world-class tag teams. So
learning how to be a cohesive unit.
Yeah, because we just threw ourselves together. We never planned on being a team, so it took a little while to figure it out. And you see these guys who travel the world, and you see how they work together, and we just try to learn every night.
And with the Young Bucks, they're very cool guys. They're very respectful. At the same time, they don't mind giving out advice to the younger guys, and they basically told us, do what you love, and always make sure you stay, together as far as like on the same page and things like that, because you can make magic together. And as far as War Machine, like LSG was saying, like it was night and day. The first time they definitely beat on us, and then prior to beating them and sending them on their way, they beat us pretty good, but we were a better team at that point, so we came out on top. And
we sent them packing, sent them to Florida. But I want to give a shout out definitely to the Machine Guns, because those are two guys that we always would go to for advice after our matches, because I know growing up watching the Motor City Machine Guns and all the different varieties of teams that like Alex Shelley was in, I admire them a lot, and I admire their work, and they were always very willing to help us out.
And they always, besides them, the Briscoes as well, the Briscoes and MCMG, they always set the tone for tag team wrestling. And, I think that a lot of teams nowadays kind of try and follow in their footsteps. So that's what we've kind of grown and learned, and still learning.
So now you're here in Germany. Why did you think it was the right time to come over here? And why didn't you just stay at Ring of Honor, since you evolved a lot there and weren't just being squashed anymore?
Right. Well, I was actually born in Germany. I was my father was in the military, so I was born here. So it was always a goal of mine to wrestle for wXw or in Germany. So I felt like now that we are in a better place in Ring of Honor, we've built ourselves up. We've got more credibility. I think it was time. We're ready. We feel ready. We're confident in ourselves and our abilities to make the jump overseas and try to press a new crowd.
Yeah, and definitely coming to wXw is something that for me, I definitely want to come over here for years at a time, because I've got a chance to watch different wrestlers from Tony Storm and
from Chris Hero, watching him come over here, like everybody, even our guy Gresham, Jonathan Gresham, coming here.
Yeah, Gresham, our dude, yeah.
A lot of our colleagues who have come through these doors, we wanted to follow in their footsteps.
It was an opportune time, definitely, to come over here and check it out, and finally get the opportunity, because we want to advance. Like we're always learning. We always want to challenge ourselves, and coming here definitely is like a big deal, and definitely is going to help us when we go back to the States, if we ever want to go back.
And so what do you expect from your stay in Germany, and what can we expect from your stay in Germany?
Well, definitely learning a lot this weekend from all the tag team wrestling going on. That's for sure.
Just what we got.
Yeah.
Everything.
And it's a great opportunity to just focus solely on wrestling and isolate ourselves and kind of cocoon ourselves in the academy and just learn every single day and get to travel in front of new crowds. So I think we're going to come out of this very confident and way better than we were when we came here.
And have some fun too.
Of course, have fun. Germany's
Chocolate man
great.
gotta have some fun.
Oh, Germany's been great. It's only day 4, and it's been crazy already.
Absolutely, I really, really love the fans over here.
Yes.
They're very appreciative. They're very welcoming, and they love wrestling, and we love wrestling. So it's definitely it feels like family every time we go out there. You know, we're performing in front of our new family. So
Yeah.
it's definitely an awesome feel, and we want to just give them everything we got.
And how did you get in contact with wXw?
So I actually wrestle for a company called Excite Wrestling up in New York, in the United States, and I met Alexander James. Well, I've known him for a while, but I recently reconnected with him at Excite Wrestling, and we were talking about Germany and his stay because it's been a very successful run for him so far. And I asked him for some advice on how to get in contact, and he put me in contact with the right people, and we just made it work, making it happen.
That's cool. So. To finish the thing, I'd like to ask you if there's some special place in Germany you're really looking forward to see, like some, I don't know, city which you may look forward to see.
I don't know. I really want to just do a whole tour,
Explore.
but I would like to see my hometown. I know there's not a lot there, but we have a lot of family friends down in Kassel, I think it's called now.
Me personally, I just want to explore and get to know Germany as best as I possibly can, so I can go back home and tell my kids about it, and tell my family about it, and tell my friends and other wrestlers.
Yeah, and I want to eat all the good food and all the good beer.
We can't eat beer.
I'll drink the beer. I'll drink the beer, eat the food, or whatever.
All right, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much.